You have a very special relationship with Steven Spielberg. Is he a director who understands music? Is it a pleasure to work with him as opposed to some other directors?
It's such a joyous thing. He's also a great friend of mine now, Gene, you know, after what, I think 25 years of working with Steven. And he's just a marvelous guy whose work says something to audiences that is a result of who he is and where he is. And also for me, it's a great blessing because he is so musical and so rhythmic. Starting first and foremost with all things in film, rhythm, it's all timing. It's not so much what you do before the eye, it's when you do it.
How do you write music for Rolling Boulders?
Hard.
It's hard.
Again, you have the rumble of the rock, which will wipe out most of the music, and it does take away a lot of it. My solution was to get up high in the orchestra and use trumpets. I probably had 3 or 4 of them in the London Symphony when we recorded that, and do high repeated notes over and over and over as this rock would go, that in a register of the orchestra and on the loudest instruments in the orchestra, the trumpets, to penetrate the sound effects track as much as I could and to grab the ear of the listener.
You did a very famous movie with what you hear was as important, if not more important, than what you see, and that's Jaws, because your music in Jaws became a character itself, the shark.
Well, I thought, how to characterize the shark? It should be low, and it should be mindless and unstoppable, like a shark's attack, you know, terrifying if it could be.
Relentless.
Relentless, which would probably produce something rhythmically that would repeat and so on. So I played this idea to Steven Spielberg on the piano.
What did he say the first time you heard it?
Do you think we can get away with it? Neither one of us really knew if it would work.
Another very famous theme of yours was the flying theme for Superman. And I remember that you and Chris Reeve had a conversation in which he said that he really didn't understand how he should play the flying Superman until he heard your music.
He always said that the music gave him some kind of sense of where the film was ultimately going to go, the sense of its ultimate style and the degree of fantasy that it might have. And the flying theme with its, you know, reaching tune that goes up and up, and the orchestra, I mean, it's one of the things that one can do in orchestration, sort of leave out the bottom of the orchestra suddenly, so the whole thing seems to be aloft, you know, to build up in a kind of introduction, and then slide the bottom out, so the whole orchestra seems to be floating, you know, as Chris and Margot wafted around the Statue of Liberty. Lovely.
When you see a movie for which you did not write the score, do you listen to the music?
I think I do. I think I separate it from the dialogue and the sound effects more than people who don't have the obvious particular interest in it that I do. But it's very hard to disassociate what you see from what you hear anyway. I mean, the visual thing seems to be so much of a stronger stimulation than what we hear.
Now in E.T., I'm told that Steven Spielberg recut the end of E.T. because he wanted to give you enough film to play that theme. Is that a true story?
What really happened was the day we were recording the end reel of the film, the last 10 minutes of the film, I kept doing take after take, performance after performance with the orchestra, and I never could get all the cues within the 10 minutes exactly right. And Steven said, look, we know the music fits. It's a 10-minute piece from here to there. Just play the music the way it feels to you, and then I'll re-edit the film if I need to make these little things conform. So he really did it in an effort to get me off the hook, so to speak. But I think what happened in the end was that the film, the editing of the film, gained a kind of rhythm and a sort of, a musician would use the word rubato, which means the speeding up and slowing up of music that is very natural. We do it in speech, you know, this kind of thing, where things can go rhythmically very well and not so well. And I think the last 10 minutes, as it builds into the mothership lifting off, gains in this kind of rhythmic cohesion because it was edited to the discipline of the music.
Bye-bye.